Okay, I was next asked to take a look at problem 5 in chapter 8. This is a sample size problem. We're asked how large a sample should be selected to provide a 95% confidence interval with a margin of error of 1. Assume that the population standard deviation is 30. And we want to round our answer to the next whole number. So again, all I'm going to demonstrate here is how to use the statistical toolkit to solve these problems in the interest of time. There is, of course, a formula in the textbook, which you should have read and you should be familiar with in order to solve this problem. Opening up our statistical toolkit, again, let's search for the sample size. We want a sample size of the mean. So we go to our sample size mean tool. And this lets us determine the sample size required to compute a confidence interval. And we want to use the confidence level that we desire, which in this case, 95%, confidence coefficient being 0.95. They gave us the standard deviation. The estimated population standard deviation in this case was 30. And notice that there is a note included in the tool to give you some guidance on how to select that estimated population standard deviation. If you know it from history, you can use whatever known value you have. You can do a pilot study to estimate the standard deviation. Pilot study being a small sampling of hopefully at least 30, but it could be less. You could use the best guess. You could use the best guess. Obviously, try to get that best guess from an expert, someone experienced with this type of data, or you can take the range of your data values and divide those by 4 and use that as your estimate of population standard deviation. In this case, we were given 30 as being the standard deviation, so let's use that. And we want our desired margin of error to be 1. So in this case, the calculated sample size, rounded to the nearest whole number, is 3,458. Which, putting that in, 3,458 is the correct answer. Pretty straightforward. And again, let me emphasize, I've not spent any time on the formula or the concept or the theory. You should have read that in your textbook. I'm simply focusing on using the statistical toolkit to emphasize how to solve these problems. And given that you can see the equations that are being used by double clicking on the various cells within the Excel spreadsheet.